So
Hi,
I
everybody.
yeah. Let's just jump right in. I mean, we were just talking about this. So wait,
Yeah.
so you push some code.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I think like um, with the speed of like AI tools and whatnot, it's pretty easy for me to push up a lot of bad code. Right? It's like it's fairly easy for me to or just to like to listen to what Cursor and Claude want me to do, and they use certain things that like we don't do. Like they love to use state like the in React. Basically, there's these things that the AI tools like to add in that don't necessarily make for the best experiences. But what's nice is like they're coachable. So like I'll tell them like here are the pages where this is done correctly, or go find a page that is doing something like this, and do that here.
Right.
So like one example was I'm adding in a sample script because people have asked a bunch of times when they're cloning their voice, they have to then go to Chat GPT or something to make something for them to read, and sometimes it'll be like monotonous and it'll sound robotic because they're just reading something. So I think a big unlock there is to include um, like the way that we might read to our kid, where like you read a story and it's like, and the horse he said excitedly. You just can't help but like when you read that, remember to do it. So
Right.
by adding in these types of things, even though it's not like exactly what the host would be saying, it can like lead to more inflection, which I think would be better off for a lot of people. Um,
Totally.
so yeah, adding a little sample script, and there's like an accordion that we use in like the FAQ page. So I'm like, follow that accordion, do something like that, like, and like it's just sort of working with it incrementally. I feel like that's like honestly the best way. I'm sure I don't know if you do it the same way, but like I can't track major changes as well. So I'm gonna ask it for small changes, track the
Right.
change, do it again, do it again, do it again, and now it's less apt to go awry. So I think it's pretty cool. I pushed up a PR this morning, but out of curiosity, I mean, I guess we don't have that many people on the call, but if anybody has any, if people sitting on the call right now have any requests for like small features that are like quick little like improvements, um, don't feel free to drop them in the chat right now or to ping us because I think I'm going to go on a bit of a barrage over the next 24 hours, let's say, of ironing, just doing these like small quality of life improvements that like derail you, but I can kind of whip out quickly. Things that like really rely upon like HTML and CSS. I mean, obviously it's all in JavaScript or TypeScript, but like things that are just like more like just like small visual elements with like text and like an easy interaction.
Right. Right. For sure. No, that'd be helpful for me. I think that so what we were gonna do some of these explore page podcasts and just
Yeah,
showcase some things that people are watching. Are we gonna share the screen here? I think probably. Is that
yeah, we could. A big part of our strategy with these videos is we try to then so like a big part of our logic of why we're doing this weekly Wednesday is not only does it keep us accountable and it's kind of fun to just to banter for 30 minutes about our week, but it's also to like chop up these videos into little shorts so that people can can get little glimpses into the product even if they haven't heard of us. But the issue with that is when we share the screen, the chop ups don't look as good. And
was
like
that still the case with if you had the three different video stream feeds?
it's the issue is just that it's like a small, it's like it's a horizontal landscape screen share with
Hmm.
like if we were to screen share like maybe our phones or something, or like really zoom in on something, but it's just the real estate issue. It's like this is like portrait mode is very much made for the portrait of a face, or in our case two things above each other. So just limitations. I mean, it like looks like less grainy for sure, but it's definitely still um,
So even if you have like horizontal video, I
mhm,
mean, if we stack that on top of each other,
two
like me
horizontal.
and you,
Mhm.
So if we had three, if we shared our screen right now with this explore page, and you stacked the horizontal footage of us, because we're vertical right now, but in those shorts, if it's just both of us stacked on top of each other, does that
Oh, us side by side, and then the whole top half as the share.
either us side by side or like
Three
just
of us.
us on top of each other? Yeah, like that.
Yeah, if it's the three of us, I mean, it's still just it's a real estate issue. I mean, we could try it, like, but it's just you can't see it. It's like it's hard to I mean, like right now we're gonna show explore page. Where like on explore page, there's like all these tiny elements. Like the text is already optimized for reading, I guess, on a desktop computer, but on mobile, I'm not sure you can even read the titles of what's on that page. You can see the images, but yeah.
Oh, so you're saying that people that are watching the live stream right now, they won't be able to see it, the video.
No, the people on the like in the shorts, just like the width of a phone screen is
Right.
too small for the width for like a But if we were to share a portrait mode of the explore page and then like cut off the top, then that could look okay.
Oh,
Then
I gotcha. You're saying that if you take the screen share and you put that into the short. Oh, okay. We don't have to put that into the
you're
short.
saying like screen share on this video,
Yeah.
but then on the short, just don't include the screen share.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that could work. I mean, that's just
Yeah. So we have this footage here because I think we discussed this last week. So we do this live, right? And people could jump on here, ask questions. We could communicate, and we'll do this every Wednesday. But then we take the live, and then we re-upload it with edits as a video. That's like 10 minutes from the 30, and so that will still have enough real estate to show the explore page on the video, and then we have the different
on the
on the
long
long form.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Oh yeah, I see. Modularity networks, partial script generation. Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is a pain for everybody involved. One of the things that we're looking to do. So for other viewers out there, somebody asked, and we hear this often, that partial script regenerations are important because one sentence might say something weird that you want to regen, then you have to go and regen the whole chapter or the whole podcast audio. There are some reasons why we've been delaying on this. It'll be worth it for everybody, but we hear you loud and clear on this. But hopefully something that's either this or something better will come out soon. So we hear you.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, just, if you don't to give a super high level answer to this, like if you don't generate all the stuff in one go, then like the things can sound out of place. So that's a big reason why we do the chapters in that order.
Right. But yeah, let's do the whole. Let's go up to the explore page.
Let's do it. Do you want to share or should I?
I'll let you share.
Sweet. I'll go ahead and share my screen. And I'll share a tab. So it'll share the audio. Sweet.
Nice. We have some black bars on this screen. Just if you want to resize.
Let's see. Is that better?
The worse.
Better?
Yeah, if you just a little higher, a little more vertical.
Yeah, what I have to do to do that is like shrink the width. There?
There we go. That's better.
Sweet. Oh, cool. A new one came on just while we were talking here. That's fun. Brand storytelling for small businesses. Sweet. But yeah, I mean, I guess to give people a high-level overview, we made some improvements to the Explore podcast page. So we used to have like a featured, featured section where we would select some, and this was just part of like the very first version of this. But now we just anyone that's creating an active podcast, so at least 2 episodes, the most recent ones will show up here. You can see, I mean, it's just like a wild, mixed bag of all types of cool things people are doing.
Right. And if you want your podcast to show up here, just make sure that the toggle is on public, so it's a publicly visible podcast. If not, then it won't show up here. Or in Google. We've actually seen some pretty interesting customer feedback that these podcast pages are ranking really quickly for some keywords in Google fast. So, if you're a business that wants to create a podcast and want to capture some real estate, some Google real estate, could be a useful way to do it by creating a Jellypod podcast. It leverages our domain authority and it's SEO optimized as well. So we have those transcripts, we have all those keywords, everything in there, and it's all going into Google using all those best practices. So
just to show
check it
you
out.
what it looks like here, it's got the podcast, it's got the information you put up here. If you added some links in the advanced settings, those would show up as well. So you can begin to, to push some of that traffic over to your website. But yeah, this is what Pearson was referring to with the transcript.
Right. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It's like, let's click on the actual podcast homepage, or let's go back to that podcast. Seems cool. Environmental science. But so this is like the home for that.
Ooh, this person got the environmental science subdomain. That's a good one.
That is a good one. It's cool. We made an improvement. So it used to be if you don't add a subdomain, it'd be some random gibberish of letters. But now if you don't add one, we'll convert your title into the subdomain. So that's probably what happened here. Environmental science just automatically converted into that subdomain.
Yeah, I do love seeing there are a lot of like academic, like university classes. Like lots of professors are using Jellypod to create like almost like listen-alongs.
Right.
As just a way to give your students like something else to engage with. Maybe it's on the walk to class or on the walk back to their dorms after leaving class.
Right. Totally.
Cool.
This one's cool too. I like this image. It's hard for us to tell whether or not it's something uploaded from a user or something that we've generated through our podcast cover art generator. I'm pretty sure I'd be like 95% confident that this is something our generator created. So
it looks good.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. It's like
I think the telltale sign is that podcast.
Was that
podcast in it? I think that's a bit of a telltale sign that our generator did it.
Yeah, totally. We try to put podcast in there. I like how the science stands out. It's a little bit more bold and thick, and the I has like the white border, so it looks like it's even in front of the O in environmental. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I had the same thought.
I posted the other day or yesterday. I took 12 of my favorite podcasts, and we just made that public podcast cover art generator. So even if you're not on Jellypod, anybody can use our cover art generator to make cover art for their podcast or their podcast episode, because a lot of times podcasts, they have their cover art for their show, but every episode they don't go through the hassle and actually creating cover art for each episode. But with that new podcast cover art generator that we made public for anybody, Jellypod users or not, you could just plug in the link to an existing podcast series, and it'll pull the title, pull the description, pull the current image, and then it'll make a hopefully improved version of the existing podcast.
Let's show this.
Or just a different one. I mean,
here, I'm going to go to the home page. Also cool improvement from last week. Cover art generator. So this is what Pearson's talking about. And here's where you can paste that URL. or you can just put in the title and description of what you're working on yourself.
Right, right. Um,
I've actually even used it as like I wanted to have some graphics. I made a YouTube video and I just wanted to like illustrate what I was talking about. So it's almost like a background slide generator or back. It's just like an art generator, very much.
and it's
Um,
really good at doing text. I mean,
Totally.
uh, I posted something on LinkedIn, and I was like, I took my 12 favorite podcasts, I regenerated all their artwork using our cover art generator. Some of them are more artistic and more illustrative than they are normally, and some of them are in the same theme but a little bit different. Just more of an artistic illustration of what this could be used for. But pretty much the whole theme of that post was, hey, like most people think AI image generators have a certain like vibe or theme to them, and you can tell right off the bat that they're AI generated. Um, that's often because a lot of people, when they first experienced AI images, it was Dolly and Dolly 3, which is like accessible through ChatGPT, which a lot of people have access to, and they're kind of they look like wax models, kind of. They have like weird shadows and glimmers. But if you use our cover art generator here, I personally think you can't tell whether or not you hired a graphic designer to make this cover art for you, or you use a tool like this. So check it out. Put in your favorite podcast here. Pretty cool. Um, and see what our cover art generator makes for your favorite show or your favorite podcast episode.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think what I think could be cool. I'm excited to see if people like use this in this way. But like anyone who's starting out, even who's making a traditional podcast, right? I think Jellypod is trying to meet those people where they are. So if you and a buddy are out there starting a podcast, and you're interested in going half half, or you're not even sure about AI podcasts, you can start on Jellypod. You can make your cover art. You can upload your recorded podcasts, and then you can begin to augment some of that work with your with AI generated, and start to make something cool. We're seeing more and more people, I think, doing these like hybrid things where they're like partially recording something, partially AI generating it, what have
Right.
you. You know.
It's a cool theme. Like, I don't know if you think the same way, but I'm watching Severance right now. I won't say spoilers. Don't worry for anyone out there listening. Severance is an awesome show. Um, but I think a lot of media companies right now are blending the whole like reality fiction sort of theme. So Severance, in order to promote season two, they took all the characters. Adam Scott, Ben Stiller, who's the director, was there, and they put up a pop up in Grand Central Station, and it was like a clear glass box. They had all the actors inside doing like sitting at their desks and working, just like kind of like they're doing on the show. And I was kind of blending the reality and the fiction of Grand Central Station with actual people going in community to work. And then you have like Severance characters in there, in character, working in the center of Grand Central Station in New York City, which is super cool, and that's blending this hybrid reality between fiction. And you're seeing this more and more that like shows will um, do pop-ups, or they'll put uh, like narratives online about like some backstories, and kind of blurring the lines between your favorite show, your favorite movie, and your life. And it's pretty interesting where there's this theme that kind of hybrid podcasting could also be that, where imagine you have an awesome podcast. It comes out once a week on Fridays, or maybe twice a week, and you're talking about tech. Let's say this example, but there's all this tech news that happens Monday through Thursday when you're not creating your big podcast, that maybe won't be something you talk about on Friday, but you still want to cover it. Could you do an AI hybrid podcast where you have Monday through Thursday? They're 5 to 10 minute long, small snippets about stuff that you might not get to on your big one on Friday. That's human or traditionally recorded, but Monday through Thursday, it's like covering some of those small updates that people actually might care about. They expect your opinion, and they know that you're behind the scenes editing, curating that, but it's not actually you going to the studio, hiring your producer to record and edit and do all that stuff. So I agree. It's pretty interesting. Um,
Yeah, 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 and like I mean, just to like take that one step further, like you've just created a podcast, say you've put it on YouTube or what have you. You can then use that episode as a source for the next thing, and then additionally add whatever news you just described. So then the episode can talk about this news through the context of how you were talking about it. So say you're like, hey, look out for this week, right? You're making some sort of prediction for the future, or you have some take on the future. You can insert that take and then have it sort of comment on that take in the same way that in a way that you would if you were recording it.
how would
Uh,
somebody do that today in Jellypod?
how they upload a YouTube source?
Or like, yeah, I mean, yes, you can upload YouTube sources, but like, let's say somebody was on Jellypod, they have their actual human podcast uploaded.
Yep.
How would you take that episode and get it into that next AI generated one?
Oh no, I mean like if they were like had uploaded it to YouTube, let's say. So
Oh,
they recorded it off platform, they've put it on YouTube, and maybe they also added that MP3 onto ours. So not like coming from
right, right, right.
us somewhere else, but there's something ahead of both the uploaded one to us and to YouTube. Um,
But you could do that, right? Couldn't you? I mean, if you had that the audio file that you're uploading,
MP3, yeah,
um,
you're right. You can just upload the MP3 directly.
right, right,
Yeah, use that as a source. Uh,
totally, totally.
Yeah, I do wonder. I've never actually tested side to side whether I'm curious how MP3 would do versus YouTube, about this of the same file. Do you have any thoughts on how that might work out?
So just to get so behind the scenes, I mean, on the YouTube side, we're pulling the transcriptions from the YouTube videos. We're not actually transcribing the audio to text. So if there's transcriptions or captions on that YouTube video, it'll work. But if you actually if you don't have those, you'll have to upload the audio.
Hmm.
So sometimes you might see a YouTube video fail to be used as a source. I see that once in a while, probably 1 to 3% of YouTube videos fail, and
Mhm.
that's the reason. It's because we're not downloading those YouTube videos. Um, I don't think necessarily we really can easily. We're just pulling the transcripts um, and using that as a source.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's almost like a head-to-head against the YouTube transcription versus our own MP3
Right,
transcription. Um,
right.
but yeah, I think um, it's an interesting sort of hybrid situation. I mean, like we're like what's cool about what we're doing is we're just sort of like in uncharted waters, right? We're like which way do we go? How many steps forward? Like have we gone too far? Have we gone not far enough? So it's sort of like this it's just this wild process of like, I mean, we just fundamentally believe in in human in the loop, right? We just think that like having a person inside of this flow is a critical part. And
Right.
yet, interestingly, some people would prefer to use Jellypod without a human in the loop. They want it just to run all the way, and they think any amount of time that they put into it is not worth it, or is like in the way of what their ideal state.
Totally. And that's super interesting to me. I mean, like, our thesis is exactly that, like, human in the loop, some sort of reviewer editing sort of process is critical. I mean, like, there's always people that come and ask me about this whole concept of AI slop and, just pumping out content into the internet. And my core belief here is that, if you don't spend the time to actually edit and put feedback and just spend the time in the creation process, why should somebody spend the time on the consuming side, right? And so that's like the core thing for me is that, yeah, you sure can build whatever you want and just pump out UGC content or all this stuff, but I think there's a level of taste and editing and reviewing that people come to expect and trust. And if you're not willing to put that in, I don't think you could expect people to actually care about what you're creating. However, there is a side a caveat to that. I think that there are certain things that maybe don't need review, um, that are already pretty boring. Like I know some people are using Jellypod to create like like those compliance trainings, and they're reviewing things, and they're already like so boring and monotonous, and but they're requirements, and you have to have these as a business. So using Jellypod and maybe automating a lot of that already is going to be 10 times better than what the existing solution is. So like that's probably okay. You probably still have to review those to make sure that you're actually
Yeah,
creating the right trainings and things.
definitely want to review it. That's the point. Like,
But it's an example of something, if like maybe there are some areas where Jellypod without a human in the loop could be 10x better than what currently exists, but far and few between, I think.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I think the submission of the initial information also counts as human in the loop, as
For
long
sure.
as it's something that is unique. I think that's
Yeah.
what makes. I think a big part of what makes the creator awesome is that every creator of any kind of content is that they put their own unique stamp on it.
Hmm.
And if you remove all uniqueness, then I think it becomes less interesting.
Totally.
And then it's just like it's sort of this funny. It's like a limit, right? It's that's approaching this like or an asymptote. Like it approaches some limit where it's like you get closer and closer, better and better to fully automated. But once you cross that boundary, then anybody can do it, and then it's no longer interesting.
Right.
Um,
Right. No, it's super interesting. It kind of goes to that conversation we had yesterday. With Jonathan Mann. So Jonathan is like he's been creating a song a day for the last like 16 years since 2009. He's a
wow.
Guinness Book World Record holder. He creates a song a day. You might have heard them. It reminded me. So he has a Sokotoa song about like sine, cosine,
Oh yeah.
hypotenuse. I think I listened to that song back like years ago, which it blows my mind. Like this is the guy that we talked to yesterday. But going on that, I mean, he was saying that exact thing. He wants to kind of create this system that takes in his knowledge and his perspectives and automates most of it, if not all of it, um, to help him create those songs beyond like forever. So he could continue writing a song a day, whether it's him physically or AI helping him write the song or doing it entirely for him uh, for the rest of his life and maybe further. Who knows what happens 100 years from now? But if he's still writing a song 100 years from now, even though it's an AI clone of him, does it count? I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's like yeah, as I said, uncharted waters. Where like where is the line? Where is this asymptote to draw?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting.
So I
Um,
think that since we have like a few more minutes coming up on half the hour, uh, there was just a few things I think that went out this morning, last night. We made some improvements on intro audio out stitching, so um, it just a little bit it fades in and fades out a little bit easier, not as jarring on the audio. So if there's an issue there, let me know. Hopefully there's not, but it should be good. It just like takes the last 2 seconds of your audio and just fades it out, fades it in. Sounds. I would get annoyed when I just hear an audio that somebody put in there, and it's just like it's so sharp. It goes from music to conversation right away. So it's like, okay, let me just fix that. That's a small little thing, but that and yeah, I guess that's kind of everything that I
yeah,
can think of right now.
yeah. Besides the air cover art generator, lots of improvements, and like I feel like the big the big thing that you've been working on, which which is gonna come soon, but we're not gonna promise anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we'll be out with some new things soon. And
Oh,
yeah, hop on. Oh yeah, go ahead.
well, no, it's not about the pro. I just before as time is dwindling, I just wanted to share with folks. So I've started like I'm inviting our customers to come share their stories about what they're building or what they're creating, and their experiences before Jellypod, with Jellypod, and now as they're trying to grow their podcast. So we got a lot of interest so far. I invited a small batch of folks, and we're going to be extending that out to all of our customers. So if anybody who watches this video, if you want to share your podcast and share your experiences, just let me know, message support or anything like that. And we'll either have you on for a video or write a blog post article about your case, whichever one you feel comfortable with. And we'll also give you some credits as a thank you.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be super cool. We want to just showcase your podcast and what you're creating with the world, and we'll give you some credits if you let us do that. So, yeah. Well, I guess we're at the at 10:30. We do this every Wednesday, so if there's something that you want us to address, hop on the chat. It's always going to be 10 a.m. Pacific time. We're on the West Coast here, so hop on. If there's things that you want us to address and you can't hop on, throw it in our Discord. We respond there, but maybe it's something that we'll bring up on the weekly Wednesday. And yeah, so I think we'll end there and see
And there's a
everybody.
better
Oh,
time that people think. Like if people watch this thing after the fact and are like, oh, I wish it would be at this other time, as long as it's not like, you know, the 8-hour night shift here, we'd be interested in moving it. So just let us know.
let's do a 2 a.m.
Yeah,
Wednesday morning.
do an 8-hour live stream starting at 2
that'd be so funny.
Yeah.
It's like Twitch TV or Justin.tv.
Yeah. Let's just live stream from now on.
I'm gonna put a camera right here and
Yeah.
just live stream what I'm doing and how many cups of coffee I drink a day.
Yeah.
There's Pearson again. Is he over or under 4?
Over.
So yeah. Today I'm under. I'm only on 1. So
Not yet. No, it's early. It's early.
I'm about to go get my second though.
But at 2 a.m. you'll be definitely over.
100%. So okay. Let's cut it here, and we'll hop on this next time, and leave comments in the video, and join our Discord, and we'll see everybody next week.
Awesome. Bye-bye.